we're now kind of, with less than a month to go in this regular season, it's time to start talking about where the Knicks are as a team. Still good record, third best record in the Eastern Conference. Uh, Tough road trip. Jalen Brunson's been out for a few games of it, but they're still kind of in this gray area where you look at them as a contender to win a first round series, but I don't see them as a real threat to Boston in the second round. I don't see it. Like that's their second round matchup. They've been better since Mitchell Robinson came back, especially defensively. They're top 5 in the games that Mitchell Robinson has played in on the defensive end. But Mikal Bridges has been kind of okay. OG Anunoby has been okay. Like to me, they're the team that in the regular season has not lived up to expectations. What do you think of where the Knicks are? Are they a better team going into the playoffs now than they were a year ago?
I would answer that slightly differently. If they had kept the same roster, I would not have expected them to have the same results as last year. Because that lightning in a bottle, that Nova Knicks kind of almost college team energy, that doesn't tend to happen 2 years in a row. The grind of the season, expectations, things like that. We just don't really usually see it again. It's usually that 1 year. So I don't have any problem with the fact that they look to break up that core or make, changes to the roster. I don't know if Mikal Bridges is eventually going to sort of settle in the playoffs and be more of the guy that everyone wanted. He's close. I mean, he's doing a lot of the things they wanted him to do defensively, especially, but he's not close enough to give up those 5 picks for him. And so I don't know if he's going to be able, especially once Robinson, not just, plays for a month, but actually settles in and the rhythm of the team settles in. I don't know if that's going to affect Mikal also, but they lost that game.
I mean, Rachel, you've got to play Towns and Robinson together for stretches. Like Towns was at his best in Minnesota with Rudy Gobert alongside him. That's what made Minnesota work. So if Mitchell Robinson is healthy enough to play significant minutes, and he looks a lot better, like on the floor, looks a lot better than I thought he was going to look coming back from that ankle injury. But you've got to play them minutes. And at that point, somebody's got to go. There's a math problem there, whether it's Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. It's not going to be Jalen Brunson. Somebody's going to have to give up some minutes in that mix.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, if they run into Boston in the second round, yes, they're probably going to lose. Boston, even now, and with all due respect to the Cavaliers, just because of the experience, they get incumbents' rights. Boston is favored to not just get to the finals, but win the NBA title. If you fall in the second round to, say, the team that wins the NBA title, that's a little bit bad luck of meeting them in the second round. I don't think the Knicks are quite at the level of the Cavs and Boston. I think they do need that one more thing this summer. But again, I mean, look, the other night was bad. The players sort of attributed it to the end of the long road trip. I think in the first 22 minutes, Karl-Anthony Towns was the only player to hit a field goal from New York. I mean, that's incredible, especially against a team where they've got, their big players missing. They were out rebounded, which is a hustle stat. And you expect the Knicks to be able to excel in the hustle stats, and especially with no Victor Wembanyama in the game, how are you out rebounded? So there's things that are exactly what you're saying that aren't quite up to the level of what they should be doing, even with the roster they have. But I just always look at the playoffs as being realistic. It's a little bit about what I just said about Milwaukee. In the end, if you are not considered the 1 or number 2 team in your conference this year, and they never have gotten up to that in the whole year, I don't know if I would consider, oh man, it's a disappointment if you don't make the conference finals. I mean, you could look at Dallas. We didn't expect Dallas to make the conference finals last year. We probably didn't expect Minnesota to make the conference finals. But maybe you're that team that flukily pushes in, but the expectation isn't that you make that. Because I don't think any NBA expert would say, yeah, I think they're better than Cleveland or Boston.
No, nobody would. What's interesting about the Knicks? Like you mentioned, like they need something else to compete on that level. Strategically, like they're top 10 in the NBA in 3-point shooting efficiency, but they're bottom 5 in the league in number of attempts. Like that's kind of wild. Like in a league where everyone is trying to be a volume 3-point shooting team. The Knicks just don't, not on the level that some of these other teams do. Like maybe that's something that if it does go sideways during this postseason that they've got to address going to next summer, changing the system so that they can be a prolific 3-point shooting team. They've got guys that can shoot the three, obviously. Maybe
Right.
changing up the system a little bit to be more open, to be more modern. Maybe that could be useful for the Knicks, because I think that's a problem. Like if you're able to shoot threes at a high level and make them, you got to at least be in the upper half of the league
Yeah,
in
shoot more.
3-point attempts. It's just so hard to do it otherwise.
Do you think that's just because Tibbs is one of the oldest school coaches we have left in the NBA right now? I mean, he
Probably
has
some
been
of
through
it's
so many years in the league, and he's adapted in a lot of ways, but not in all the ways.
I think some of it's personnel too. Like Jalen Brunson, doesn't hunt threes in the way that some other guards do.
Yeah.
Anunoby's a physical guy. Bridges has had some problems with the shot throughout the course of the year. He's gotten his numbers right. Should be fair to him. They've been better as of late, but he's still in the mid 30s, down from last season. So, I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of everything. But that to me is a missing ingredient with the Knicks, like not being a prolific 3-point shooting team. But who knows? Like I think watching Mitchell Robinson with this group over the next few weeks is going to be big. Like, how much does he impact the way they defend, and does that inch them closer to some of these other teams, the top tier teams in the conference? But yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry, they've got expectations.
No. Yeah. And I would just say this in the West right now, I think we all feel like we absolutely know, barring something crazy unforeseen, one of the teams that will be in the Western Conference Finals, right? Oklahoma City, barring something really we don't expect or a big injury, we all think that they will end up in the Western Conference Finals. I have no idea who that other team will be. The other team in the West that is going to make the conference finals. I could name you 5 teams or 4 maybe that I think are contenders for it. And depending on who gets hot, depending on who gets injured, I think that spot is up for grabs among a number of teams. I don't think in the East it's the same thing. I just don't. I think that we have 2 teams who have very clearly been the cream of the crop the entire season. And I think it would take a fluke in one of their directions for another team to get in. So again, when you look at the Knicks, when you look at the Bucks, when you look at some of these other teams, I just don't think it's fair to hold this roster as constructed with these players, how they've been playing all year, to be like, man, why didn't they get to the conference finals? Because they kind of weren't supposed to with the way things have been going. And then you have the summer to try to get together a team that you're one of the teams in the top 2 that everyone's counting on all year.